Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. It's the second half of the Super Speedway series by LSRTV Friday night doubleheader. We'd like to welcome you and welcome the broadcast team up top side in the booth. It's myself, Andy Kessler, joined by Austin Coop, and of course, the lovely and talented Cisco Scaramuza down in the production trailer, getting that picture to you. I want to welcome you to this big event here tonight. We're talking the accumulative race. 3 25-lap races, no cautions. You got to have the three best finishes out of anybody in order to get yourself the win here tonight. And the wins are oh so important this time of the season. We got just 2 weeks counting tonight before we start the Super Speedway chase. And we can't wait to get that underway. Many guys on the outside looking in right now, looking for that possible win. Guys like Dana Osborne sitting 15th in points outside that top 10 right now. He desperately needs a win. Right now, some 30, make it 40 points outside of the top 10 in points. So a win is about the only way he's going to get that job done. Other guys, including Brandon Monsivice, Jason Altman, Greg Hooks, Alex Hallner, all those drivers looking for their first win of the season and to lock themselves into the chase. And then, of course, guys that are locked in. Can't forget Shane McKeechin, 2 wins on the season, leads all series drivers. Seth DeMerchant, he got his win last week, which was kind of a surprise, I think, for the defending champ. It took so long this season for him to get his first win, but he has locked himself in and will get an opportunity to battle for back-to-back champions and maybe become the first ever two-time champion in the Super Speedway Series. That all will come within the next few weeks. But first, we got to get over tonight. We got to get on with next week as well. But first up tonight, 3 25-lap races, no cautions, Austin. When you talk about these races, I know you've done at least one of them in the past a few weeks ago. A lot can happen in these races. You got to finish well. You finish well, you get sent to the back in the next race, then it's all about survival. Just try to get a decent finish to get yourself set up for that third and final race. It can be a doozy and a lot of pressure on these guys for 3 races.
Oh, you hit it right in the nail. You know, there's a lot of people out here that are gonna go to the front and try and go to the front and then be there all race. But like you said, they're gonna go to the back and have to deal with that if they run very well. So your optimal point is to be 11th the first 2 races and then win the last one. But even that won't work if you got a guy who's got a teammate who might get him to the front every single race. So you really just have to play your cards right. These 3 segments really make it. These 3 races really make it interesting because it's completely different from just regular super speedway racing. It's not, strategy to get to the next pit stop. It's strategy to get to the next segment, and then you have to decide strategy-wise what you have to do to get back up to the front if you do well enough. So, yep, an interesting one. We've done this before, and they always actually kind of bring the best out of racing here, Andy.
They absolutely do, but let's send it down now trackside to get today's pre-race ceremonies underway. It's the singing of our national anthem in Jaden Berkey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
want to thank Jaden Berkey for that rendition of the national anthem, and of course the Thunderbirds for the flyover. But it's that time. Qualifying is done. And let's take a look at tonight's LSRTV starting lineup. That number 4 car, Paul Servant, on the pole tonight with a fast lap of a 51.939. Of course, that's nothing like we'll see in the race when these guys are running sub 49 second laps. Second, though, on the grid outside on that front row, that's number 7 of Rodney Wofford. Corey Henry will start third outside on the second row in the 4th starting spot. That's the 44 of David Anderson. And Seth the Merchant will round out your top 5.
Mark Jorgensen's going to sport that Mountain Dew Decision car. He's going to start 6th. Chris Bassini is going to start 7th. Christian Peterson is going to start 8th. Ray Rittenauer is going to start 9th. And Tommy Stock is going to start that number 10 in 10th.
Starting 11th tonight on the grid, that will be the number 8 of Dana Osborne. Kelly Dahl will start 12th. 13th goes to Shane McKee.
Sorry about that. Lewis Coldren's going to start 14th. Sean Boundy 15th. Michael Lathrop is going to start 16th. Jay Wright's going to start 17th. Rod Flagg is going to start 18th. Matt Quick 19th. And Alex Allenar is going to sport that number 64 into 20th.
21st starting is that number 48 of Josh Ball. Brandon Chaburka will start 22nd. 23rd goes to Ryan Pyland. Derek Walker will start 24th. 25th is William Roberts. Dan Harrington will start 26th. 27th is that 92 of Casey Malone. Tony Fenn will start 28th. 29th goes to Andrew Berger. 30th was Ramon Evans. Larry Camp will start 31st. And Glenn Hedrick will round out this 32-car field we have here tonight. Again, 25 laps in this first heat race here for these guys. 25 laps. They have to make a mandatory green flag pit stop. That seems to be what really, I guess, either makes or breaks a lot of these races for these guys in these cumulative races. There's no cautions to catch you back up. You got to be perfect on pit road, getting on, getting off. Your stop has to be perfect, and you have to do it with a lot of friends if you want to succeed here tonight.
Oh yeah, that's extremely true because, you know, you can lock them up and it won't be a big deal, but if you, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to come down pit road and not take tires. So if you lock them up, do you take tires and risk the on-track speed, or do you take the tires and risk the off-track penalty? Well, not a penalty, but the risk of losing a lot of time down pit road. So that is going to be the make or break, like you said, Andy, for a lot of these drivers because they're on the track more than they're on pit road, so they have more exercise on the track. Not on pit road. So a lot of these guys who practice that, those are going to be the guys that are going to probably be at the front at the end of this one here, Andy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right by that. We get set to get this thing underway. Paul Sermon will lead us through the green flag here tonight. The pace car will duck to the safety of pit road. Well, they got a long wait to get to that starting box here because that start-finish line all the way at the end of the tri-oval, right at the end of pit road. That's where this one will get set to get off. Green flag is in the air. We'll jump by that 4. We'll spread out throughout the field there. Not quite sure what's going on towards the middle, towards the back of the field, but they'll get it all sorted out here. Just maybe some guys trying to figure out where they want to ride here in this race right now. Paul Servant, though, he's got some company on the outside. One of the best in the business, Rodney Wofford, to the outside. He's got a lot of help. That top side, though, doing a great job as far as keeping up with that front car in the high side. That's been able to give them the slight advantage now heading back into turn 3.
Yeah, we are kind of pretty spread out here, Andy, but I think that's a really good thing for the first race. We always talk about how these drivers do know how they race around each other at these super speedways because they do it every week. But to get a good clean start, no one really wants to see a big wreck, even in the first couple laps of the first race. So, I think these guys are going to be just a little bit conservative towards this first one. But remember, it's all about where you finish too. So we're going to see that outside line keep popping in and out as we see week in and week out. It just kind of depends who's behind you and who's brave enough to keep pushing you through the corners here, Andy, as we see Paul Servant getting a really big push from Corey Henry, and he kind of went up to block that high line. Corey Henry did, and they did a really successful job, I think. So the first 2 cars, Paul Servant and Corey Henry, doing a good job kind of commanding the field at the moment. But Andy, we know it won't last long.
No, it absolutely won't. Look at that top side. Really start to gather it up here through 3 and 4. Off of turn number 4, here's where the run comes in. They time it just right. Get on that back bumper. Look at Anderson now. Give that 7 the push he needs to get him up to the front. That 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. in the mix as well. So the bottom side checks up just a little bit there. That'll give Wofford that lap lead that time by. It'll actually allow him to clear that bottom lane. And he'll go down to that bottom, pull right in front of Paul Servant.
Oh,
Contact with the 44 right in front of the field. And that is a big mess for a whole bunch of drivers. And without cautions, that's going to mean a lot of damaged race cars right there. And that's going to split the field up quite a bit here in the opening couple laps.
A lot of cars are messed up, and there's drivers. True, man. I'm watching a couple drivers run flat guys, split 4 wide. It's not over the wrecking in the back, guys. I'm sure. I mean, some of these guys are really slow off the pace because of their damage, and I'm waiting for the wreck to happen here.
There's craziness going all over the racetrack. It's really separated everybody up towards the front. Right now, 5 cars break away from the rest of the field. That's right there in front of Shane McKeechin. He's trying to get back up there. He's got Sean Bounty, who started 15th up to 7th now because of that wreck. He was able to get through it all. So a great piece of driving by that number 34 and by the number 28 of Shane McKeechin. Both those drivers able to make their way through that. Looks like no damage at all in those cars, and they start to catch up to that lead pack now. So those guys, definitely a great job by them to survive that opening wreck there a couple laps into it. And now this time they'll be able to catch up to the front of the field and have an opportunity to win this thing here tonight. I know it's early on here as we work lap number 4, about to complete it this time by. That second pack of cars led by the 48 of Josh Ball. They're starting to gain some steam now as they head down through the tri-oval as well. The problem is they're 4 seconds back. It's really going to take some great piece of drafting by those guys. Single file is what's going to get it done. They cannot afford to race side by side with each other. That'll lose so much time here. As you can see, the top 7 guys now, as they all catch the draft now, they're all single file. That's exactly what that second pack needs to do to catch.
Yeah, what that second pack needs to do is Josh Ball needs to get on the radio and talk to Brandon Chaburko and tell him, it's not time to race. We need to try and catch these guys. As Alex Hallinar gave a big push to Brandon Chaburko, but it looks like Chaburko may have a little bit of front end damage. And a lot of these cars, I think, only 20 cars are still running at a fairly good pace, so that counts about 11 cars in that accident. Huge wreck, and a lot of these guys still have damage. As we see Chaburko here try and peek out on the right side of the 48. It looks like he's not quite content in 10th. We always talk about how Brandon Chaburko is aggressive, but I think right now is a time you got to think about just getting to the front as quick as possible to advance your position. They will eventually pass Corey Henry, who is all by himself. He's sitting in 8th, about 3 seconds back. They're going to fly by him like nobody's business here. So be prepared for those guys to move up a position. But yeah, that top seven groups getting a little antsy up there, Andy.
Yeah, they are. They're starting to split it up just a bit. The 71, Christian Peterson now to the outside. They decide to split up those 2 lines right now, and they're going to make it 2 lines, I should say. Right now, 4 guys to the top side. Make it 5 now. Look at the 88 move to the top side. Right in front of Christian Peterson. That'll give him the advantage because there's no help on the bottom for Wofford at the time being. And he's got to wait for Seth the Merchant to catch up to him, and it's going to be a while here. Off of turn number 2, give that 88 now the lead. The 71 able to clear, and here comes the 10 also of Tom Moustakis. He won our first accumulative race early this season, and he's one of those drivers as well. He's got to win, but he's got to get himself further up in the standings. He is so close to being in the top 30 in standings that he needs some fantastic races 2 weeks in a row here in order to allow him to advance with that win to get himself into the chase. So we can see if he can do that here tonight and get himself a good solid top 5 finish overall for the night. And so far so good for him. He was able to dodge that first wreck and finds himself now within the top 5 here after starting 8th, and got him right now scored in that second spot. The 71 though, Christian Peterson, he made it all the way up to the front with Jorgensen, but he's had to fall back now as that bottom line was able to recover just a bit. Wofford and Seth the Merchant, and going to run single file now back down the straightaway.
Yeah, we've talked about how strong Mark Jorgensen is as we follow along with Christian Peterson shotgun as we watch. He's going to get, you see a little bit of damage on that 32 car. He's got a little bit of rear end damage. Looks like someone didn't check up and ran quite into him, but he's still running up there, and it doesn't matter about how much rear end damage he has. If he doesn't have any front end damage, it's all right. And so, but that will be hard for Christian Peterson to get on his bumper and to push him. You can't push when someone's bumper is caved in like that, so that's got to be an issue that they're thinking about. But you can see how close he's going to get here if he does push him off the exit of the corner. But these guys are single filing it right here, and they will have to make a pit stop, as we've talked about all night. But behind them, they're not single file as much, or they are single file in about the same manner. But yeah, some interesting things have happened since that wreck here, Andy.
Yeah, we already have our first group coming down pit road. It started with Tony Fenn in the 78. They were running 6. Him, Derek Walker, Ramon Evans, all those guys have made their first pit stop. The 12 also of Corey Henry decided to come down, possibly get some of that damage fixed for him as well. But it looks like he'll be able to come out with some other drivers, so he should be able to get back up to speed. The top runners, though, right now, as they make their way through 1 and 2, they're going to catch these guys slowly but surely right now and try to put them a lap down, which doesn't really mean anything without the caution flags on here for tonight's race. So those guys obviously still have to come down and make their round of pit stops. But those top 7, they got a 20-second gap now back to that 8th place car of Dan Harrington in that 82, and he is all by himself right now. Well, we'll scratch that. He's got one car right with him, 87 of Ray Rittenauer. So those two guys trying to get everything they possibly can speed-wise to at least keep up pace of somewhat. But that 87, he's got a lot of front end and rear end damage to that machine, and that's not going to make it easy at all to push that 82 towards the front. So it's going to be tough for those guys to make up any ground at all here. Top 7, though, they're pulling away quite a bit here as we approach that halfway point of this 25-lap race. Just about a lap and a half from that point here. So these laps go by pretty quick without a caution. These guys looking for their pit stop. Probably we've seen a lot of the guys go about 17, 18 laps is probably about the max. They'll come in, then they only have to run a few laps under the green to finish this thing out. We'll see what these guys do. A lot of other guys like to come in a little bit early, maybe get themselves away from that melee, but the melee happened on lap 2, so that made it kind of tough. So it really, you may have a strategy coming into the race, Austin, but once the race starts, you can sometimes, or most of the time, just throw that strategy you came in with right out the window, because something somewhere on the track happened and probably threw it all off whack.
Yeah, I mean, I think I may have jinxed it by saying they were really spread out. They may have been conservative, but that really wasn't the case. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to look at the accident, so I don't know exactly what happened. I'm looking at Alex Hallinar in 8th place. He's leading the first group, the first group that has pitted. I just watched Brandon Chaburko get extremely wiggly, so he's not on the back bumper of that 20 car, which is not going to progress their speed very much if they want to be as quick as possible. Right now, they're not in an ideal situation. There's 3 of them, and then there's 2 of them, and they're not really working together very well. I'm watching them, and it seems like no one's really wanting to be the pusher, and everyone's wanting to be pushed or to pass. So it's interesting to see their strategy unfold. Up at the front, they're bumper to bumper, making sure that they can get as much time as they can get. And these guys got to talk to each other. They got to communicate. That's going to be the biggest thing for them. Is they know that they have, some of them have damaged race cars, and the one with the damaged race car has to be behind and try and push as much as he can, because if he's out front, he's going to drag the people behind him out. So Alex Hallinar, he has the clean car, but the guys behind him just can't get to his bumper at the moment.
No, they can. I look actually through that top 7 guys right now that run on the racetrack, and I was trying to figure out where they all stood as far as a race wins, and you know what? All of those guys in that top 7 right now have at least 1 win on the season. So how about that, huh? The cream always rises to the top, it seems, and all these guys here, besides Shane McEachin, who leads the series with 2 wins so far in the season. The rest of those guys, the top 6, each have a win. They're all locked in the chase. So this is all basically for bonus. This is all basically bonus points if they get a win here. And we talked about it a little bit before as well. Tom Moustakis, not quite where he needs to be as far as the point standings go. He is just right now. We'll check real quick here. I'm looking real quickly, but he had a great, I wouldn't say start to the season because he missed a few races early in the season, and then he came through and got a win, his first race back, and it was in one of these cumulative races. Right now, currently, he sits 34th in points. He has to get up past that 30 mark, and he's actually right now 13 points behind that 30th place spot, and that right now being held by that number 13 of Kelly Dahl. And Kelly Dahl already with problems in this race here tonight, sits 8 laps down right now, and he is on the racetrack currently, so that's not a bad thing for that 13 machine, but the good part for Tom Moustakis where he's running right now, that'll definitely close that gap up in points if this can continue over the 3 races here tonight, though. Top guys, they're still out on the racetrack, still not making their round of pit stops, and we're at that halfway point, just over it right now as we're going to complete 15 laps right here and have just 10 to go here in the opening race.
Yeah, and they're starting to spread out a little bit here. You know, they're not bumper to bumper like I thought they would, but they're also not really pulling away from that second group. So it's going to be purely on the pit stops. And I think the guys in the second pack are going to have it easy the rest of the race. All they got to do is just keep going and just don't hit each other too hard and just keep pushing and keep pushing. And these guys up front, they still got to make their pit stop, and anything can happen. I mean, even if you are slowing down good enough to get to pit road, the guy behind you may not. So you have to let everybody know what your plan is. So you got to know that when you come down pit road, you got to let everybody know. So Mark Jorgensen, he's in first, so he's going to be the first person to initiate the pit strategy typically. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, we definitely will here. So, I guess we're getting a little bit of word that maybe the second pack a little bit faster than the leaders right now. They are 41 seconds behind them currently, which, like we had just mentioned there, the top 7 still have to make their green flag pit stop here. They come by this time. That will be 8 laps to go, so they're catching in on that time, about that time where we should start seeing this group come down pit road. And are they going to come in as one group, or are they going to split it up in a couple different groups? So it'll be fun to see over the next couple of laps how that actually plays out. Jorgensen Jr. continues to lead Tom Moustakis right there in that second spot. Look at Sean Bounty with a win in his rookie season so far this season. He's sitting there right there in the 3rd spot here, doing a great job here in this night. We talked about him and Shane McEachin in that, who are up in this lead group here, able to dodge that wreck early in the race, the one that came on lap number 3, and they were able to get through that, no damage at all, and they were able, between the two of them, catch this lead pack. So they drafted very well, so we know those 2 cars have a lot of speed in them as well. Turns 3 and 4, will they pit this time? Will they not? Only time will tell as they get ready to exit turn number 4.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of radio communication saying they want to pit now, but it doesn't look like they're coming down. There must be a little bit. I'm getting one end of the communication, not the other. So I don't know what the other end's saying, but it sounds like they want to go as soon as possible because they know they're losing time with these old tires here, Andy.
Yeah, they are. They of course are, but we also know too that these the tire wear in this build is a lot better than it was the last build. That last build, you run 10, 15 laps, those left side tires were junk. And we know how, with this new build, those left side tires, a lot of these guys will be able to make it through a whole race. They don't have to take tires on their pit stop. They just have to make a pit stop. So fuel, they're good for fuel the whole way. Whether they want to take more fuel to pack it in there, maybe to make it handle better, that's up to them. They have to make a stop. Here they come, though. It looks like, everybody's going to separate just a little bit. Looked like some guys were wanting to come but chose different now. Looks like only the top 3 of this group will come down pit road here. Jorgensen Jr., Tom Moustakis, and the 34 of Sean Bounty will come in this time. The other top 4 will stay out. Seth the Merchant leading that train right now. We'll see what happens right there. Pit stop, though. They're down and away. See, that's all it was. Just some fuel. The 88 of Jorgensen. Maybe too fast. Might be a speeding penalty for that 88. Not what he wants. He's still sitting there. And it's only going to be Sean Downey and Tom Moustakis coming out this time.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Either he went off the track a little, or went off pit road a little bit, or he was definitely speeding, and I was almost sure that Sean Bounty was, but he may have just been able to get away with it. As we see, the leaders are closing up, but remember, those guys still got a pit too at some point. But yeah, very unfortunate for Jorgensen to do that. But yeah, we got more pit stops. Seth the Merchant, Christian Peterson, Rodney Wolford, Shane McEachin. They're all in right now.
They are. It was kind of an interesting entry to pit road as well because it looked like the 32 and the 7 might have made a little bit of contact. Rodney Wofford had to back up just a bit. It also looked like that 28 machine might have hit the cone, might have had a penalty as well for himself with the entry. He's going to come out a little bit behind these guys, so we'll have to see how it all plays out. Alex Hallinar was leading that group, and they're making their way through the trioval right now, and they should be able to get around those guys here as they try to climb back up to speed on the apron. They work their way through now turns 1 and 2, and they'll try to see if they can get a way around it. Looks like possibly Sean Bounty and Tom Moustakis, they got a pretty good head of steam right now heading into turn number 3. So they're just now entering turn 3, and these guys are just about halfway down the back straightaway. So pretty good lead for those top 2, and the way the laps are winding down here with 5 to go, coming to 4 to go. It's going to make an interesting finish if these guys can actually catch them, or if it's going to be a battle between that 34 and 10 for the win.
Yeah, they're still about 3 or 4 miles an hour faster as they got some more heat in their tires, but I think they're a little too far back now, Andy, to really catch it. Looks like these guys up front really played the pit road strategy well, or they just got on and off pit road better, as we see some stragglers coming on. These are the lap cars that these guys need to pass, but Shane McEachin's all by himself in that 28 machine, as he did hit that cone and got a cone violation, but they're going to hold them up a little bit as they're going to go to the outside. So definitely unfortunate for McEachin, but everyone that's passing him right now is they're not saying the same thing. They're actually quite content, quite happy with the way things are going. But Shane McEachin will grab a hold of this draft, and he will not lose all of those spots that we initially thought he was probably going to. But Alex Hallinar is going to get himself relegated to 6th place, more than likely, as I think that's the last car that's straggled by himself up until Rodney Wolford, who is just now crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, it looks like Wofford, though, going to get eaten alive here as these guys catch up to him at full speed, go way to the outside, and a lot of them will pass. He'll be able to catch his draft like you talked about, and like the driver of the number 28, Shane McEachin, was able to do as well, and he actually gets to the back bumper of Rodney Wofford, and he's got him now as he gets settled into this group as well. All these guys are battling for that top 10 spot here in this opening race, but look at these top 2 guys. A great job by these guys here right now. A 2.5 second lead. We'll see what it is this time as they cross the start finish line and get 2 laps to go, and it was 2.4, and it's going to be 3.5. So wow, look at the amount of speed that these 2 cars are able to carry right now is just that much greater than the group that has 5 cars. It's 2 cars right behind him as well, Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson. But it's just amazing that those 2, them working together, they're a lot faster. And I think a lot of that has to do with that damage that might still be on that 32 machine.
Yeah, they're also able to work through traffic a lot better than a lot of the other guys because they don't have all the people behind them to wait on to get to that pack. It would be nice for these guys in the second pack to run extremely close together, but I don't know if they're shy or they're just not comfortable with running bumper to bumper. But I think that would really get them to. I think they would really get them to get into the front. As we're watching Tom Moustakis and Sean Bounty at the front getting around that 78 lapped car. But I mean, when I'm looking at Sean Bounty, he's a lot of right rear damage, but I mean, these 2 cars are almost flawless from the wreck that happened earlier. But I mean, when I look at the second pack, it doesn't look like they have much damage either, so there's got to be a little bit of finesse in there too. As I'm watching Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson right here, and
we're on the white flag lap here, working our way through turns 3 and 4. Sean Bounty trying to get a run. He was back just a bit there on the back straightaway, kind of setting back to set up this run. And Tom Moustakis made a great block off of turn number 4, and it's going to be not quite enough as Tom Moustakis will win the first of 3 heat races here tonight. Sean Bounty, a solid finish in that second spot, but did a good job on that back straightaway, kind of backed up to that 78 machine, and then got a great run coming up through 3 and 4. Just Tom Moustakis played a great block.
Oh, wow. Huge wreck behind them. And it all started with, I think, Josh Ball and Andrew Berger trying to go 4 wide in the tri-oval. Just not enough room for all of them to go. But they were just, 32 got into the 42 there as he was trying to, it looks like the 42 actually got into the 32. And then it was on from there, and nothing that some of these guys could do. And then a lot of other guys got caught up in that mess as there's a lot of cars, and a lot of cars limped back to the start-finish line. But yeah, definitely not what these guys wanted to see for a 3-segment race here.
You're absolutely right. That definitely jumbled up everybody from third on back on that one with that wreck. Some good finishes by some drivers there that maybe bounced back a bit. Brandon Traburco able to come home in that 7th spot. Look at Rodney Wofford. Able to rebound with the 10th spot after not after losing the draft, I should say, after his green flag pit stop. So a solid top 10 effort for him as well. The 32, Seth the Merchant, didn't quite make it. He made it to the line, but he fell outside in that 11th spot, which is good news for him. Him and Josh Ball, Ryan Pineland, those guys just outside of the top 10, because now at least in the second race, they get to qualify for that one as well. But we're all done here with the first of 3 segments here tonight for the iSuperspeedway Series cumulative races, and the second race will get underway in just a few minutes. But with that said, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will come back for that second segment. So we'll do that right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Since 2010, the highest echelon of sim racing competition has focused on NASCAR and Grand Prix racing. 50 of the best drivers in the world doing battle for championship glory. Each man for himself, and even though there may be teammates on track, each driver is in command of his own destiny. Until now. 2016 sees the start of a new era in World Championship competition, with team racing getting its chance in the spotlight. No longer can one driver rule supreme, but you must rely on those with whom you share a car, a setup, a strategy. Endurance racing can be very different to other forms of motorsports, with races in this series lasting either 3 or 6 hours. Teams of 2 or 3 drivers, perhaps on opposite sides of the world, will share seat time, each having to collectively work towards one common goal. Crash out, and it's not just you who you let down. Officially sanctioned by SRO, it will be teams of drivers who will go head to head, car to car, rival to rival, in the pursuit of a championship. And there's over $25,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Some of the world's biggest sim racing teams are represented. There's also a group of teams who haven't seen this stage before, who want to make their mark and say we can hang with the best. The team racing revolution is here. It's loud, it's exciting, and it lives on iRacing Live starting April 23rd. The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, one wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by Racebot TV. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome you back here to Talladega Super Speedway, getting set for race number 2 of the 3-race scheduled for tonight. 3 heat races, 25 laps, no cautions for these drivers. Tom Moustakis picked up the win here in the first race tonight, barely, just over Sean Bounty. Those 2 cars just about 5 seconds over the second pack that was coming. A great pit stop by both of those guys. Got the job done, and we're able to give them top running spots, I should say, for that first race. The problem for that, they're not going to be able to get a qualifying lap in here for the second race. Top 10 finishers actually are the only ones that don't get to qualify in the second race. So it means a lot of work for these guys here in this next race. They got to survive, and I see a trend happening here in these cumulative races. The 3 or 4 times now that we've run these this season, which is new to this series this season anyway, is there's always seems to be in every one of these races a caution, some sort of accident in the first part of the race, first few laps even, first handful of laps. It seems to happen every single time that there's some kind of mistake and happened by somebody, and we end up getting a lot of cars that have to sit it out.
Yeah, we saw that in the last race. We saw just a small mistake up front leading to a big wreck, and it was only lap 2. So everyone was pretty jumbled together still. Not really what anybody really wanted to see, but some guys were able to bring it to pit road, bring it in, get some damage fixed, and come out there and still pass some people that were caught up in a late race accident, as we saw just not too long ago. But yeah, this is going to be another one of those back to the pack to the front races that some of these guys are going to have to really worry about, like Tom Moustakis. He's going to have to start from the back, and a couple of these guys. I think the first person that comes to mind that was kind of shocking in that top 5 there, Andy, was Alex Hallinar. It's only his second. If this was to count, that would have only been his second top 5 of the season. So I know it doesn't count as a statistic yet, because we're not done with the event. But how about that guy getting a good finish for him? I'm sure he's hoping to back it up and try and do it again. But a lot of these guys that were toward the front, kind of not a lot of them, but a few of them were kind of surprises here.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of good finishes by a lot of guys there, and we saw a few of the big hitters getting in that wreck there on that last lap there of that first race. So those guys obviously get the opportunity to qualify, which gives them the opportunity as well to come back in this one to get a better finish, to get that average finish back up there as well. So a few of the guys get to still at least qualify for the second one. One of those we mentioned, Seth the Merchant, just outside the top 10. I believe he finished 11th in that first race. He gets to qualify, and right now he's second fastest on the grid. But and I'm looking at his qualifying's getting ready to run down. About a minute left in it for the single lap for these guys that to get 19 have taken the time. But Paul Servant, he started on the pole in that first event, got caught in that wreck on lap number 3, and now he finds himself on the pole again. So Paul Servant, definitely a fast race car, especially by himself tonight. He's done a great job, at least for now, securing the pole for the second race as well.
Yeah, these guys got to figure out what he's doing in qualifying, because he's figuring out over everybody. you got to run. Everyone knows you got to run the top in the first lap of going around this track to legally heat up your tires. But once it gets to that go lap, you just kind of have to finesse it and get your car up there as fast as it can, just not hitting all the bumps the wrong way and getting around it. But yeah, it's one of those weird things that you could just say, well, slam on the gas and just turn left, but it's not. With Paul Servant and a couple of the other guys that we typically see at the front, there's always a little bit of finesse that still goes into these super speedways, as we see week in and week out here, Andy.
Yeah, qualifying definitely is an art. It seems like just go, like you said, but it's really not. You really have to know the line to drive. There is a specific line on the racetrack where it doesn't bind the wheel up, where you don't have to turn a lot into the wheel, and that obviously gives you a lot of help and doesn't scrub off so much speed. But it's that time to get race number 2 underway. Let's take a look at the LSRTV starting lineup for race number 2. And once again, just as the same in the first race, Paul Servant will start himself on the pole with a sub 52 second lap. It's a 51.989 for him. Seth the Merchant will start to his outside in that front row. Chris Bassini inside of row number 2 in that third spot, and David Anderson once again with a top 5 qualifying effort. He will start 4th, with Kelly Dahl, a solid one for himself. He'll start 5th.
Michael Lathrop will take his 85 car to 6th place. 7th will start Mark Jorgensen Jr. Dana Osborne will start 8th. Corey Henry 9th, and Luis Caldrion will start 10th.
11th will be the 48 of Josh Ball. 12th goes to Jason Altman's Casey Malone will start 13th. 14th will go to Ryan Pyland, and starting 15th will be that 87 of Ray Rittenauer.
Tony Fain will start 16th. Shane McGeechan, he didn't even make it to the start-finish line after making 25 complete laps. He'll start 17th. Glenn Hedrick will start 18th. Larry Camp 19th, and Dan Harrington will start 20th.
The rest of these drivers unable to qualify. They were the guys that finished in the top 10 in that first race. First one will be the 21st starting spot for Andrew Berger. At 71, Christian Peterson will start 22nd. 23rd goes to Tom Moustakis, who won our first heat race. Brandon Chaburko will line up in the 24th spot. 25th, that'll go to Rodney Wofford.
Rod Flagg will start 26th. Alex Hallinar 27th. Ramon Evans 28th. Sean Bounty 29th. And Rick Walker will start 30th. And we have 2 less cars starting this race than the last race here.
Well, fantastic starting grid here tonight. 30 cars here in the second round, and this will be a lot of fun as the field starts to work their way behind the pace car for the time being, and we get 1 lap under the pace speed here, and then these guys will get it going. No cautions once again. We'll remind everyone with that. You'll see a wreck, and well, hopefully you're not in it, is basically how it turns out. No caution flags to re-catch you up to the field. That makes pit stops all that important. We saw that first race just a few minutes ago. That pit stop, a solid pit stop, is what gave that 10 of Tom Moustakis and the 34 of Sean Bounty that ability to be so far ahead like they were and able to battle it out for that race win amongst themselves. So we'll see what these guys can do this time around. We'll see who has their mistakes on pit road, who doesn't, who comes out on top, and where these average finishes will start to line up after this second race here. For those guys that weren't able to qualify, well, got some work to do. They got to get their way through the field and not get caught in an accident. This is where we see is some of these guys try such a different strategy as, say, pit inside the first 5 laps or so, just to get away from the rest of the field and give them the opportunity to basically survive this one and make it to the end. And hopefully, when everything's all shaked out, they can get themselves another top 10, another solid finish, which would give them the opportunity going into the final race. We'll come up here just momentarily to get tonight's race win. Of course, the chase looming just 2 weeks away. Got this week to finish and next week, and then we get the Super Chase underway. And all these guys, most of these guys that don't have a win on the season, this is their opportunity to get themselves locked in. A win tonight or a win next week. Allow them to get that done here. Pace car on to pit road, and we're ready to get this thing underway. Once again, the 4 of Paul Servant. He will lead them to the green flag as it waves overhead. 25 laps is what we got here on tap. No cautions for these drivers. It's time to get it on.
Yeah, you're totally right. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys have to offer. We're going to see more pack racing, hopefully, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. No wrecks is what I think these guys are really going to look for, but they look a little more bunched up than they did last time here, Andy. But off to a really good start down the back straightaway. Something to note real quick is I think the 92 car of Casey Malone actually had an EOL penalty. His qualifying lap was disallowed, so he's going to be at the back of the field. But, you know, we see guys come up to the front from the back, and we're going to see a lot of guys do that who persevere through this. So not a huge worry, but definitely something to know as we go into this race here, Andy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Up to towards the front, it's pretty much single filed out right now. The top side wanting to get started by that 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. He's kind of halfway down on that bottom lane, trying to get a run to get that top side to start working here. So top four, we're able to check out of the rest of the field. He does go to that top side now with Anderson in that 44 just behind him, and we'll try to time it just right off turn number 2 and see if they can not get themselves closer to the front. Paul Servin, he's leading the way right now down the back straightaway. That one of Chris Bassini. Great qualifying effort for him has given him this opportunity as well. Look at the 32, though. Seth the Merchant jumped to the outside right in front of Jorgensen. That's going to give that top side that much more momentum right now and give Seth the Merchant off turn 4 the opportunity to get the lead.
Yeah, and he knows who's behind him. He's the All-Star winner. During that race, he was almost unbeatable, and he's truly shown that he's a force to be reckoned with. As we see the 12th car of Corey Henry get so close to Kelly Dahl right there, trying to get to that outside line. I mean, he was not even mere inches from his back bumper, but he got around him, and you know he's going to get the position over him currently. But yeah, top 6 breakaway as we see the rest of the field behind him, kind of just stringing on away, but they'll definitely catch him eventually. But yeah, to see this 32 car of Seth the Merchant, he's really pushing his car out there and getting a huge push by Jorgensen. I mean, that's just something you see all the time is Jorgensen always power to the front. And when you got the Merchant in front of you, you got an easy target. You know, it's a huge target on the back of his bumper. He keeps his car so steady through the corners, and for Jorgensen, it's a pretty easy job through these.
Yeah, it's absolutely an easy job for him to push a veteran like Seth the Merchant there to the front. And they've been able to catch up to the front right now. They just haven't had that ability to clear that leader on the bottom side. Paul Servin doing a great job on that bottom side to keep it where he wants it. Take a look at a few of those guys that weren't able to qualify. Some of them already making up some ground right now. Andrew Berger leading that charge. He's up to the 17th spot. So some of these guys already starting to make their way up through the field here after starting outside the top 20. So those guys, a few of them, at least 3 of them so far, have gotten their way inside the top 20 as a few more trying to work their way through. You got to be patient back there in the field like this. You have this opportunity. This looks like the 3-inch Brandon Jaberko getting awfully close right there. And I'll tell you what, he's one of those guys that likes to do the side draft. And right there, just kind of coming up the track just a little bit on Glenn Hedrick. They almost make some contact, almost had a wreck right there as well. But keeping a note on those guys like Brandon Jaberko back there in 20th, these guys, they have to be so patient in this race, having to start in the back like this. They have to go back there and just be patient, pick them off one by one as the battle for the lead starts to heat up a little bit. Seth the Merchant on the outside.
Yeah, he's trying to get an edge over the form before Paul Servin. He doesn't have anyone immediately on his back, but he does have that one of Chris Bassini still there. That what the top side need is they need a lot more support. And if they had it, it looked like they would actually probably go to the front and do some work. But Paul Servin comes up the track just a little bit to cut Seth the Merchant off to hinder his progress. So definitely one of those moves that you see often. He could have, played that a little harder, but it is only 6 laps into race 2, so he brought it back down, and he's still in first place here, Andy.
But they are 20 laps, making 19 and a half as they work their way down the back straightaway. Top side, they got some momentum this time off of turn number 2 at 88 of Jorgensen Jr. It's going to give that pretty good push there to Seth the Merchant. Not quite enough to get him clear of the 4 before they enter turn number 3. That was a pretty good effort right there because the 48 of Josh Ball and the 51 of Jason Altmans were able to catch up to those 2 guys. So now it gives that top side that much more help. And you got a string of cars, another 4 cars right behind these guys, led by Corey Henry. They made it to the back bumper as well. So give the top side some momentum. But look at the 48 of Josh Ball actually get squeezed out to the top side there. Looks like the 51 of Altman's trying to let him back in there. He does, but that's going to leave that 57 now. Luis Calderon out by himself outside. He'll be able to drop in right there in front of Tom Moustakis. No, he chooses to stay up and out of the way as they make contact there. 71 of Christian Peterson, a little contact to the bumper of the 10, and got him a little loose right there, but those guys able to keep it going straight here. Battle for the lead still continues, just a different car up there now. Chris Passini decided to go out to the top side, right ahead of Seth the Merchant. Now he'll try his luck to see if he cannot get in front of Paul Servant. Paul Servant's been very strong this race on that bottom side.
Yeah, and it got a little hairy up front. We had some contact up towards the front, too, and a bit of 3 wide. And a very short burst of 4 wide situation, and some guys were not going to have any of that, and they actually backed out because they didn't want their car to be involved in one of those wrecks. And maybe a smart decision. Maybe they could have made up a lot of ground, but, you know, that's for them to decide at that point. But, yeah, it looks like Paul Servant's just keeping a good, clean, consistent line on the bottom. But I'm watching that top line, and I feel like it will get some momentum as we keep going. You know, you can see the 48, the 61, the 44, the 41. They're getting there ever so closely, and watch for them because they're running a lot closer together than that bottom line.
Yeah, they are. They're trying to use that side draft maybe to help them out. We've seen it in the past, too, in the other builds that the top side really be the place to be. And it still, I think, is the place to be to get the race win. As you can see, that run they got right there to turn number 1, which actually big contact.
They saved it.
Jorgensen makes contact, and they save it. A few guys on the apron, but so far so good. It looks like everybody able to check up.
No way.
Some 3 wide action going on, but man, I swear to God that 32 was pointed the wrong direction right there off the bumper of Mark Jorgensen Jr., and that's going to allow Josh Ball now to plow his way through the middle and possibly take over the lead because Chris Passini, he has no help currently.
That I've never seen so many people save the cars like that. Andy, that was spectacular driving by almost every single one of these guys, and it wasn't just the top 10 guys. Everyone behind them had to check up a little bit, and I saw at least 2 cars 45-degree angled in the middle of the corner. So major kudos to these guys. That was fantastic, but a lot of these guys lost a lot of momentum, like the 12 car of blanking, the 12 car right behind Corey Henry, sorry, and he lost so much momentum right there. But you know, he's only a second behind everybody. But like you said, back at the front, Josh Ball, that's the first time he's had the lead all night.
Now it looks like the 71 of Christian Peterson having some problems. That's not what he wants to have happen to him here. It looks like he's out Dan Harrington, the 82, also with a lot of problems for those 2 drivers as well. We'll keep an eye on what goes on with them here. We haven't had a wreck, I should say. I was going to say, we got more problems here. The 44 of Anderson checking up a bit. Hallinar had to get off the brakes there just a little bit as they go 3 wide just in front of him. You got 12 Corey Henry had a run, didn't want to lift right now. They'll go 3 wide now through turns 1 and 2. The 7 of Rodney Wofford now going up to help him as the 85 able to drop down now in line. And some crazy stuff going on right there with Michael Lathrop in that 85 machine. He's able to keep it down on that bottom side. So a lot of these guys, just some crazy racing. But we haven't seen that wreck we saw early in the race, in that first race on lap number 3. So these guys, they're getting a little pushy right now. It's just a matter of time. And it looks like a lot of guys now heading to pit road, and 3 of them were inside the top 5 as Josh Ball now will lead those 3 guys to pit road here on lap 11.
Yeah, it looks like everyone got on the pit road pretty good. You got Jay Riot, Josh Ball, Mark Jorgensen, Ray Rittenauer, and a lot of others. Casey Malone, he made his way back up, and he's going to be with this pack here. This was the pack that the first race that won it. But Ray Riot, or Jay Altman, he was the guy who went through his pit box, and he's going to lose a lot of spots here, guys.
Yeah, he's going to lose a bunch of spots because he had to back up right there. Josh Ball will win the race off pit road. He's going to have the 3 of Brandon Chaburko. It looks behind him as they start to gain speed on the apron right now, and Mark Jorgensen Jr. as well right there with him. For the other leaders, some of them coming down now. Looks like Alex Hallinar in the 64, the 44 of Anderson. Those 2 guys will come down. At least they're coming down in a small group, but it's a group nonetheless. At least they're not by themselves here. As the leaders continue to stay out there right now. Chris Passini leading the way as we work on lap number 13.
Yeah, they got left out to dry there, Andy, but the car I'm looking at right now is a 32 car. His front end is smashed in. And the reason why we had issues not too long ago, before pit stops were happening, is I think that 32 car is really damaged, and he's actually holding up some guys. I think the draft is enabling him to stay in the race. If it wasn't for the draft, I think he'd be really falling out. But you can see the distance he's putting between him and Chris Bassini right now. I mean, it's way too much damage to be staying with these guys, but he's doing it, and he's going to stay in as Chris Bassini is going to come to pit road, and he misses it. He just flew. He's lost the race now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, totally missed the cone right there. It's going to be an unsafe pit road entry. It's going to be a huge penalty. Now he's speeding, so that one definitely it's so hard to come onto these speedways. You're going 200 miles an hour in the draft. You get down on that flat surface where there's absolutely no grip down there, and you're trying to get woed up, and if you hit the brakes too hard, you end up spinning yourself out. So there's a fine line you got to balance. It's not that easy now, as it looks like the one of Chris Bassini is actually going to pull it behind the wall after that mistake, knowing without the cautions to allow this to catch back up. So he will just exit out here, as it looks like another big group coming to the pit road here, led by that 32 of Seth the Merchant. Well, it looks like the one vehicle out there will stay out. It looks like the 28 of Shane McKeechin will continue to stay out there right now. But everybody else are on pit road, so this will just about throw us through a full cycle of pit stops here, as we'll get set to see where everybody gets back around and see where they end up here. The 34, Sean Bounty, on pit road as well for his stop. So all these guys making their stop now when it matters the most, about that, just over that halfway point here right now. Derek Walker right now shown in the 10th spot. We'll see where he is when everything cycles up through, but he's right there with the 64 and the 7. And we'll see where those guys all shake out. It looks like they'll pass a few guys right now, but they're about 15th on the racetrack currently here. It looks like for that race lead, though, it's going to be that 48 of Josh Ball as he makes his way around that 32, the 8. They work their way back onto the straightaway. So it looks like about a 5-car breakaway here. And once again, some names we're used to seeing up there in the front. Look at Josh Ball. You got Brandon Traburco, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Casey Malone, and then you got the 10, Tom Moustakis. A great job for him to be able to start in the back and work his way up to the front here. And we'll see where everybody, obviously the rest of the field, cycles up through here as they cross the start-finish line this time by, and we'll have 10 to go.
Yeah, and you got to believe that group of 5 is going to be relegated to the front, as we see Brandon Traburco does lead that lap. But it seemed like there was a little bit of a planned exchange between Brandon Traburco and Josh Ball. I don't know whether Brandon Traburco had a heated engine or whether there's a little more discussion going on there. But it looked pretty deliberate that the Traburco was going to go to the front, because Josh Ball just let him have it going into turn 3 a lap ago. Definitely one of those things to talk about, because you don't want to blow up, but at the same time, how long can your engine go off of being overheated, as we see Josh Ball get right under the bumper of Brandon Traburco. They're going to really pull away if they are that close, but they've really separated the gap between them and the second group. But unlike the last race, the intervals between each pack is pretty close.
Yeah, it was 1.7 that last time. This time by 2.2, so they're actually pulling away from that second group. Even though the second group, for the most part, is single file, at least in the front group right now, they just not quite have that speed. They're not as close enough together to gain as much speed. It's all about timing off these corners, since they can't push through the corners, which is one of the staple rules here at the I Super Speedway Series. So these guys obviously got to do something to get back up into this, and I think this is the best chance they have. We didn't see it this close after pit stops that first race, so these guys have an opportunity. They just got to get lined up. This front group, you can see how close the top 5 are to each other. That's a lot of trust right there as well when you're running that close to each other. One little slip up by one guy could take all 5 of you out, so that's a lot of respect and a lot of faith in the drivers around you right there. But hey, listen, this is what they do week in and week out. This is what they guys do. I would definitely put them the best of the best when it comes to super speedway racing, because that's what this series is all about, whether we're at Talladega like tonight and actually the next week as well, and I believe the first race of the chase at Talladega as well. So these guys, whether it's at Talladega or Daytona, they definitely know how to get it done here. As we see the top two swap once again. Something we used to see when you had the tandem drafting, when you could get right up on the back bumper. You'd see these guys run a couple of laps like that on each other's bumper, then switch, and they've been doing a great job of it. And Mark Jorgensen Jr. being aware of it as well. I'm sure team communications with that 48, he knows it's going down, so he kind of just lets up there, lets these guys switch it out, and they're just counting the laps down before they can get this thing settled amongst themselves right now, trying to pull away, and they did once again another 10th that last time by. So this top 5 looks like it's going to be these guys to settle out race number 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be quite content being 1, 2, 3 really at the end of this. But I mean, you never know with these kind of teammates. You don't know whether they'll be cordial and then fight in the third race, or whether they'll finish it out the way it is. Because I mean, this isn't the finish for the rest of the race. I mean, it's always for these kind of races, it's about your average finish. So, I mean, I've been just told that all 5 of these guys are in the same channel. So definitely, like we talked about, all these guys are on the same page. It just kind of depends on who's willing to go for it at the end and dump the other guy out of the way to get the position, or whether they're all going to stay in line. But knowing that all 5 of them are in the same chat, I think they might stick together, just these 5, knowing that Tommy Stockis has the highest finishing rate, and Casey Malone has come from very, very back to 4th.
Yeah, we'll see what these guys can do. Obviously, Tommy Stockis, that'd be pretty cool if he could win the first 2 heat races here tonight before we get into that final one, which will decide our overall winner of this evening as we start to close the laps down. This time is across the start-finish line, 5 laps left to go in race number 2. They go by pretty quick without the cautions, and we haven't had the need for a caution, if there was any anyway, because everybody's been doing a pretty good job in this one. We've seen some close action a few times, some guys sideways through the corners, but able to hang on to it, and they've done a great job overall in this second group as the top 2 split. Once again, they swap positions again. Brandon Chaburko now back up to the race lead, and like I said, that was pretty timed pretty well by both of them guys, and it looks like something they're coordinating throughout this race here, just to make sure neither one of them blows up that engine at this point in the race, because that's the last thing you want, is to be in this group that could be settling out for the win and have your engine expire and have to fall all the way back to the end of the all the way back to the end and find yourself with a horrible finishing position with only 1 race to go.
Well, I'm looking at the speed chart here, Andy, and the top group is going 2 miles an hour consistently faster than the second group, and that's all they need to be that much quicker. And whatever Brandon Chaburko and Josh Ball are doing by switching and being on each other's bumper 24/7, basically, that's getting them the results. Even though they have to switch, they're not losing that much time, which is pretty impressive. As we see everyone, the second group behind them, they're very spread out. And they think, if I was in that group, I would think, there's a lot of us. We're gonna get going, but there's not a lot of push. There's not a lot of urgency. It looks like, which is really unfortunate for the second group, because there's a lot of good cars that could really use it, and there's a lot of guys is riding like Seth the Merchant with a pretty beat up race car at the moment, as we have about 3 laps to go.
Yeah, just 3 laps left to get it done here in race number 2. Another switch again up front between the top 2. Josh Ball will now take over that lead. Tommy Stockis looking to the outside, maybe trying to let that car cool off just a bit here. He won't lose the draft necessarily here, so he's probably trying to get that engine as cool as possible before they start making their way or making their move to go to the front here to try to get the win here in race number 2. This is the exciting, the lull before the storm is kind of what it is here as we come to the start-finish line, and this time by we'll get the 2 to go mark here as they cross the start-finish line. So just 2 laps, just over 5 miles left to get it done. What do you do? Who's in the driver's seat here? Is it the 88, the 92, and the 10? I mean, it's all about, you're going to need some help here to get it done in that final lap.
Yeah, Andy, I think the guy in a really good position.
Maybe 5 wide.
Yeah, I think it's Mark Jorgensen or Casey Malone, because I think one of those two cars in the front, I don't know who has it, as we see a little bit of a break. I don't know what's going on here, man, but there's a little bit of a break here. I don't know whether, and Jorgensen's let him in, but Mustakis is not a part of, he wants something different. I told you Jorgensen would do something different, and he's coming right there on the outside of ball, and we're going to have one lap to go to the start-finish line.
White flag is in the air for these guys. Oh, they almost look like they want to go 3 wide here. Brandon Chaburko was trying to go up to the high side. Jorgensen Jr. was trying to take that away. They almost made some contact there. That would have spelled trouble for these guys. They worked their way off of turn number 2 for the final time in race number 2. Brandon Chaburko now leads that bottom side, top side with the 2 cars, trying to get the momentum. But that 10 at Tom Mustakis is just too far off the back bumper for the time being. We'll see what they can do off of turn number 4, though. Off into turn number 3, that 3 car, Brandon Chaburko, who won the Truck Series race here earlier this evening. Actually, his 3rd truck win on the season, looking to win in heat number 2. Off of turn number 4 for the final time, coming to the checkered flag. Josh Ball not going to make a move, it doesn't look like. It looks like everyone content to run where they're at. That's where they're going to finish right there. Brandon Chaburko picking up the win in heat number 2.
Yeah, I think all 5 of them knew if it was going to happen anywhere, it was going to happen at the start-finish line the first time, as we see Brandon Chaburko lose his rear bumper. And looks like, I'm glad they have extra cars to tear up like this, Andy. But yeah, Brandon Chaburko, great performance. He just kind of wrote it out at the right time. I think if Josh Ball was in the front, it would have been the same. It would have been the same thing, just reversed. It would have been Josh Ball in the front and Brandon Chaburko in second. But definitely good drive by him and all 5 of those guys at the front.
Yeah, it was a great job by all those guys. So race number 2 in the books. We'll get set to get our second one, or our 3rd and final race underway in just a short moment. One of the guys to watch out for, Tom Mustakis, who picked up the win in the first race, finished 5th in the second race. The average finish or average points for him collected in these 2 races, that's going to set him up pretty nicely for that final race. But once again, he won't be able to qualify. He'll have to start towards the back of the field. 6 of those cars that weren't able to qualify, they end up finding themselves in the top 10 once again. So pretty good job by all those drivers as well. Race number 2, it's in the books. We got 1 more to go, 25 more laps to go right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live, and we'll do that in just a moment.
Since 2010, the highest echelon of sim racing competition has focused on NASCAR and Grand Prix racing. 50 of the best drivers in the world doing battle for championship glory, each man for himself. And even though there may be teammates on track, each driver is in command of his own destiny. Until now. 2016 sees the start of a new era in World Championship competition, with team racing getting its chance in the spotlight. No longer can one driver rule supreme, but you must rely on those with whom you share a car, a setup, a strategy. Endurance racing can be very different to other forms of motorsports, with races in this series lasting either 3 or 6 hours. Teams of 2 or 3 drivers, perhaps on opposite sides of the world, will share seat time, each having to collectively work towards one common goal. Crash out, and it's not just you who you let down. Officially sanctioned by SRO, it will be teams of drivers who will go head to head, car to car, rival to rival in the pursuit of a championship. And there's over $25,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Some of the world's biggest sim racing teams are represented. There's also a group of teams who haven't seen this stage before, who want to make their mark and say we can hang with the best. The team racing revolution is here. It's loud, it's exciting, and it lives on iRacing Live, starting April 23rd. The 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is all about change. New teams, new drivers, new tracks, even a new logo. And oh yeah, there's a brand new car. After 5 years of competition, we say goodbye to the Williams FW31 and we say hello to the McLaren MP430. But this isn't just a brand new car, it's a whole new ballgame. And with it, we bring new excitement, new strategies, new technology. For example, energy recovery and drag reduction systems. There's a new way of thinking about racing, and for all the drivers participating, it's back to the drawing board, wiping the slate clean in the ever-consuming pursuit of perfection. One little slip-up, One wrong move on track, one poor strategy call, and it's over. That's the difference between coming up short and becoming champion and being $10,000 richer to boot. So yeah, change is in the air, but we're going to start getting answers on the 27th of February as the 7th year of iRacing World Championship competition kicks off. And you won't miss a thing, with every single race live on iRacing Live, coverage brought to you by r14. So join us fortnightly from 1:30 p.m. GMT.
Welcome back here to LSRTV's Friday night doubleheader, coverage of the iSuperspeedway.com racing series and race number 3 of this 3-round accumulation type style format that we got going on here tonight. And race is down, 1 left to go, 25 laps, no cautions. That's what these guys have left to do here on this evening. Tom Stock has picked up the win in the first round. Brandon Jaburko just picked up his win in the second round. Those two guys separated by just 2 points now in the standings coming into this final race. 4 points back, Derek Walker. Great runs for him here tonight so far. 1 top 5 to go along with that. He is 4 points out. Alex Hallen are 5 points out, and so on down through. You can probably really say, honestly, there's probably about at least 11, maybe 12 guys, Austin, that have an opportunity to pull out the win here tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's extremely true. You know, there's a lot of guys that aren't too far out as we get the list up for it. Looks like you said, the person that probably is most out of it, it looks like Sean Bounty and Seth the Merchant. That's 14 and 16 points out. They're pretty far out. Mark Jorgensen Jr., he's about 12 points out. That's a little far. And Rodney Woodford, he's 11. I think the realistic chance, the 7 realistic chances that we have is Moustakas, Traburco, Walker, Hallinar, Malone, Ball, and Berger, all within 10 points of Moustakas. Definitely going to be, I think, an exciting finish because I think these guys, they see the points, they know where they need to finish. Tom Moustakas finished top 3, it's over. If Brandon Traburco wins, he wins, it's over. Derek Walker, he has to win, and he has to. I mean, the only way he can really secure his future is if he wins, and the other two, Tom Moustakas and Traburco, flunk out and don't make it. But a lot of these guys just really have to depend on other people's finishes for them to win. But the front two, if they win, they make it.
That's absolutely right. It's so close. It's so not sure, really, of who's going to get it done.
Right.
Here we got 25 laps to figure it out in just a couple of minutes. Qualifying, well, that's underway currently right now, about 3 minutes into it. They have 2 more left to go for that, and so far 14 guys have taken the time. And once again, with a couple minutes left, Paul Servant looking pretty stout out there with the lead, with the provisional pole, I should say, at the time being. Of course, he led the start both of the first 2 races so far this evening, looking to get it done once again. His fast time, good enough so far over Corey Henry. We'll have to see. There's still a few guys left to go here in this one. We'll see where they all shake out in just a couple of minutes. It looks like only about 29 cars. This time it was 30 that last race, 32 in the first one. But it looks like 29 cars will make an attempt to run this race. Try to get every possible point they can get because the chase, the I Super Chase, starts in just 2 weeks' time. Don't want to miss out on that at all because these guys, when the chase happens, it's just an absolute phenomenal thing to watch. You're talking 2 races, Daytona, and then you go to the Daytona 07 track. And the first 2 races, talking a feature event, two races, 25 laps, 50 laps, and then the cumulative like we're doing here tonight on May 20th. That'll be round number 2. Then we drop a few guys off. Then we have 1 race, drop a few more, and then we have a couple more races. Or excuse me, we have 3 races. We'll drop a couple guys. We'll have 2 races, drop a couple more, and then we have, of course, the championship race coming on June 24th. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. That's the endurance race, 100 laps at Daytona to get it done right before the 4th of July. So make sure you tune in here each and every week. Of course, next week, right here at 10 o'clock Eastern on LSRTV, you can catch the final race to get into the chase. It's Talladega. It's endurance race, 113 laps for these guys. So that will put down our final 3 races of the regular season, and all 3 of them coming here at Talladega, so don't want to miss that next week as well. And also, you don't want to miss tomorrow night. How about tomorrow night? The United Sim Racing Truck Series. Can't forget about these guys. This Saturday, April 30th, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can join all of the crew for LSRTV for the All-Star Race. Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course, presented by B&C Lawn and Landscaping Services and Simlutions. It should be a lot of fun. 10 p.m. Eastern for the pre-race show. Charlotte Motor Speedway, 60 laps is what it's going to get for those guys in their all-star event. That should be a lot of fun with the trucks racing at Charlotte. But qualifying's over, Austin. It's that time. Let's take you through the LSRTV starting lineup. And
Look who's up there.
Paul Servant, once again, 3 races in a row here tonight. Nobody could top that driver, the number 4 in the Oreo machine. Now he's just got to put it all together and get himself a race win. But he'll start on the pole at least for this 3rd race with a time of a 52.018. Corey Henry, he'll start on the outside of row number 1 in that 2nd spot. Dave Anderson, another solid qualifying for him. That's 3 in a row as well. Just can't quite get the finishes down for that number 44 machine. He will roll off 3rd. 4th goes to Sean Bounty, an excellent qualifying run for him. And Kelly Dahl round out your top 5.
Yeah, number 85 once again starts in 6th place. He's in the 20s on the standing, so he really wants to make it up to the front for bragging rights to show that he really deserved to be up there and not in that first wreck, which got him out there in the first place. Ray Rittenauer is going to start 7th. Louis Caldrion is going to start 8th. Dana Osborne is going to start 9th. And Christian Peterson is going to start 10th.
Ryan Pilot in 41 will roll off 11th. Outside of row number 6, that's going to be the 82 of Dan Harrington. Shane McEachin will start 13th. 14th goes to Glenn Hedrick. Harry Camp in the 33 will start 15th.
Ramon Evans is going to start 16th. Tony Fain is going to start 17th. Mark Jorgensen, he's going to be the first guy not to qualify. He's going to start in the 18th place. Casey Malone, good finish by him, starting the back on the last race. He's going to start 19th. And Andrew Berger is going to start 20th.
21st on the grid, that's the 32 of Seth the Merchant. Tom Moustakis, a first and a third place finish, will get him a starting spot here in this last race. And 22nd, Brandon Traburko, who's chasing him down 2 points behind for the win here tonight. He starts 23rd. 24th goes to Rodney Wofford, and Rod Flagg will round out will round out to 25th spot.
Alex Hallinar will start 26th. He's gotten every pushback to the back of the pack, just like Tom Moustakis has, and he'll start 26th. Jay Altman's going to start 27th. Josh Ball will start 28th, and Rick Walker will start 29th. Andy, I think the huge thing that we got to talk about is Paul Servant. His average start for these 3 races is first. His average finish is 29th. I mean, for this, 29th. I mean, this has got to be some pretty terrible luck for this 4 crew. I mean, they got to. I mean, I think he's really going to push the issue when it comes to this race. I don't think he cares about everyone else's championship hopes. I think for him, he's got to win this race because he's shown that he has the speed over everybody.
Yeah, he's definitely had the speed under qualifying here tonight, getting all 3 of the poles, which is a pretty good feat to accomplish. So congratulations to him on that, and we'll see if he cannot pull out, at least get himself a solid finish in the top 5 in this final race here to make up at least for some of that, maybe even possibly get the win. But we'll have to see what happens here as we get set to get this final race of 3 underway here tonight. 25 laps, no cautions for these drivers. Got to keep it green and clean and straight for all these drivers if they want to get an opportunity to come out a winner here tonight. Pace car going to make its way down pit road. Again, that 4 machine of Paul Servant will lead us to the green flag for the final time here tonight. No cautions. They've been pretty quick here tonight, so don't miss a moment of all the action here. Race number 3 is underway as the green flag flies. We're going to drag race it out now for that top spot. Side by side, 2 rows deep. They're going to go at it now for that top spot as they head to turn 1.
Yeah, Corey Henry got a pretty good jump, but it doesn't matter when you got help behind you, and he had none. David Anderson's going to round out the bottom, and we get a little bit of a checkup behind him already. The 13 car, Kelly Dahl, he's not up to speed like everyone else is, and he kind of backed everyone up a bit, but it's all right because some guys went to the outside, and some guys are just they just keep pushing. As Sean Bounty's going to be the guy who's not quite on the bumper of the 44. He's a little bit farther back, but look at that. He's coming right back up. And the outside line just doesn't have the steam as we always see, but, they always come at the later stages of the race. That top line always comes in just a little bit later.
Absolutely does. You start to get more help like that 57 of Luis Calderon coming into the picture as well here, and they start to gather that up.
Carnage.
So the top side, it looks like Carnage a little further back.
Chaburko's in it. He's done.
Wow, the 3-car, Brandon Chaburko, 2 points out coming into this thing. He heavy damage on that machine. It looks like a lot of the front guys were involved in that. A lot of those guys that didn't qualify there, and it looks like it all started with the 83 making some contact. That started in the back there. Everybody else kind of piled in. Malone was involved. The 20, the 48 of Josh Ball, the 78 was involved as well. So a bunch of drivers, a lot of guys looking for that champion or that win here tonight, and their hopes for that have just pretty much flown the coop, and that's going to definitely change things up quite a bit there, Mr. Coop.
Yeah. Looks like the top 5 has just become a big scrambled mess, and I think the only two cars that weren't involved in it was Halinar and Mustakis, but they're extremely far back. When I said earlier how the only top 7 had a chance in making it, throw that out the window there, because that's completely untrue now. Because I mean, Sean Bounty, he's in 4th place. I think he has a huge shot at getting up there because Casey Malone's out of it too. I mean, this is just a huge turn of events here for everybody, as we see Mark Jorgensen Jr. and Rod Flagg already put it behind the wall. They are done. What a complete change of things here. I don't think I was expecting that.
No, 2 of your top 3, Derek Walker, Brandon Schaberkel, involved in that. We mentioned how Tom Mustakis was able to come out of it. The problem is he's a little farther back now, so we'll have to see if he can make up some ground with that 7 of Rodney Wofford, who's right there in that little pack of 3 that these guys are involved in right now, currently running back there in that 16th, 17th, 18th position right now. So a lot of guys towards the front of the field have the opportunity, at least at the time being, to make up some major points on these guys. And one of those, like you mentioned, that 34 is Sean Bounty. They go 3 wide now for that race lead. And one of those, the 85 now, Michael Lathrop went to the high side. Not going to be able to get anything done up there all by himself, and he'll fall back quite a bit here, lose a bunch of positions. Be able to drop in, though, in line and gain some of that, or at least get the draft back and be in that top group. That's what it's all about here before these pit stops make it happen there. That was awfully close right there, coming off of pit road. Derek Walker in that 20 machine, almost making contact with those guys. And it's tough when you're a driver like the 44 of Anderson right behind that 4 machine. You're basically running blind. All you can see out of that front windshield is that back bumper and back spoiler of that car in front of you. You absolutely cannot see anything else. So it makes it so hard to see guys like that coming off of pit road and anything like that. So unless you have somebody up there in the stands watching for you and kind of giving you a heads up of what's going on, it makes it real tough for these cars for them to see anything but that guy in front of them.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And as stated earlier, there was no contact between the 20 car earlier on the apron. But the cameras and the iRacing, that just sometimes happens. But the battle up front is ever so hot, as the 12 car Corey Henry is still putting the pressure on Paul Servant. And Paul Servant, he just really wants to not be in the back. He wants to finish this thing up towards the front, at least the top 10, I think. Would be a pleasant thing for him. His average start or his average finish is 29th. He can't finish lower than 22nd right now. So that's a good plus for him. But I don't think he's thinking about that. I think he's thinking about the win right now. As we have about 18 cars still up to speed. About top 15 right now is actually in that lead pack, and then 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, they're really far, about 5 seconds back. But talk about Sean Bounty. I think he's actually in the lead. We don't have an active scorecard right now, but I think if I'm looking at this right, it looks like Sean Bounty actually has the lead right now in points.
Yeah, it'd be awfully close the way it runs. 14 out back was where he was with Tom Mustakis, and right now with him running in that second spot as they come up to the start finish line, that's going to make it awfully close right there with Tom Mustakis of actually being in the championship lead right now. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But the top side, it's gained some momentum. It's gained some partners up there on the top side, and Sean Bounty leading that pack right now. He's trying for that race lead off of turn number 2, and he's got Corey Henry giving him the push. We'll see if he can get that momentum. Finally, break that race lead up for that 4 machine of Paul Servant. It looks like it's going to happen there before they enter turn number 3. Sean Bounty now all the way to the bottom. He'll lead that bottom side now through 3 and 4, and quite possibly get himself a lap lead this time by as they come to complete lap number 8. So we close in on the end of this one rather quickly. We get closer and closer to the halfway point. These races just go by ever so fast, so don't miss any of it. You don't want to step away. We go nonstop, basically no commercial breaks for these races, because a lot can happen within those 25 laps. Awfully close up front, battling for that second spot. Look at the 4, Paul Servant, and that 12, Corey Henry, really pinching them down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, they touch.
Almost made contact there off of turn 2. They might have.
Oh, I think they really did, and they're not the only ones doing it. Christian Peterson did it right on the front straight or on the trioval earlier. I mean, they're trying to get every little bit of advantage that they can get right now, because I mean, you can see it right now. That top line, I mean, is really losing some angst as we see that 8 car and the 4 car split down pit road. I don't know if that's such a good idea. There's hardly anybody there to help them.
Yeah, just the two of them, and coming down pit road, at least from this front pack, as the front pack still continues to go. It looks like the 87 of Rittenauer are having problems getting into pit road. He went into the grass, so that's problems for that driver as well. As this top side, we look back up for the lead, and 12 of Corey Henry, a pretty good job on that outside lane. He's got that 57. How about Luis Calderon giving the push now for the race lead? The top 2 might actually clear themselves before getting into turn number 3,
yeah,
and they do. They'll drop right in front of Sean Bounty, and that'll be a 2-for-1 right there. 2 guys now making it up in front of that 34 for those top 2 spots, and they'll work their way off turn 4 this time. Complete lap number 10. They'll give us just 15 left to go here in Dega.
Yeah, you knew that Corey Henry, he has been the pusher in all the races, I think, if I can remember correctly. But he's pushed almost everybody to the lead when it mattered the most in some of these later portions of the race, in race 1 and race 2. So for him, I'm sure it's a really it's a sigh of relief to not have to worry about anybody out your front windshield. But now you got to worry about your rear view mirror, which is probably what you're looking at more than the actual road, which is a little scary. But when you're a race car driver, that's the only, I mean, that you have to do that. You got to make sure that the guy behind you and yourself are lined up so you can get good speed. And you can see the 57, excuse me, and the 12 car, they're doing pretty good getting locked up and getting good pushes to each other. That's really what you want to see, especially for Luis in that 57 truck or 57 car. He's been pushing real hard today, and he hasn't had the results he's been looking for. So to be in second place right now is really good for that team.
Well, it absolutely is. Of course, still looming in the forefront for these drivers here, especially the ones in the top 8 here running in this pack. Up front, they still got their pit stops left to go here, and a lot can happen on those. We've seen that both races now so far here on this evening. A lot of trouble on pit road. Some guys speeding penalties, entry penalties. A lot can happen on pit road, and a lot of races are won and lost on the pit road, and we'll see what these guys can do this time here. A couple guys, it looks like maybe coming to pit road. No, it's just one. Are you kidding me? Anderson all by himself, no help at all.
That's a shame right there. He does have the 82 of Dan Harrington come along, but he's really far back there. That's a shame when you go and you make the move and you're still kind of timid to go down there. You could tell that these guys are not 100% to go there, but he had no help, and when he gets back on the track, he's not going to really have a whole bunch of help.
No, he's absolutely not going to have any help here. Corey Henry, though, continues to lead right now, so the lead pack heads back into the into turns number 3 and 4, and we'll see if any of them else will decide to come down pit road this time. It looks like nobody's coming down. The top 6, 7 guys now will stay out there as the top side. Tries to get a little bit of momentum. Look at Ryan Pineland in that 41 machine. He's got a little bit of help from the 71 and Christian Peterson, trying to make that top side work, trying to get themselves up to the front. They're trying as hard as they can now. They work their way around another lap car. It's Derek Walker going down one more lap here. Here's the 44 coming off of pit road, all by himself right there, and the front field will just blow right by him. He won't even be able to catch their draft, so that's going to hurt him quite a bit here on this one as well here. Thirds 3 and 4 this time will come to the line to work lap number 15. It'll leave us 11 laps to go, and it's about that time for these guys to head down pit road, and look at them to go now. 4 of them, 5 of them, make it 6 now. Ryan Pineland, kind of a last minute coming to pit road, and yeah, he's going to get there and slow it down just enough to get inside the cone. So a great job for that 41. Kind of looked like a last minute call there, and they left one guy out there basically by himself, and poor Luis Calderon having a great run, and he got basically left out by himself.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to see, and I'm sure he thought more people were going to stay out, but you can't really predict that as Corey Henry is going to get. Oh wow, he got freight trained by Ryan Pilot. He came out of nowhere. I don't know if that was 100% 100% going to work, because it looks like Glenn Hedrick is going to have a big push on Corey Henry, and then Ryan Pilot's going to be left out to dry. But we'll see how that plays out. But that's an interesting move to just dart so far out by yourself at a pit road.
It looks like Luis Calderon going to make his way down pit road now. Only driver left out there to make his green flag pit stop, all by himself, though. We'll see how quickly he can get on and off pit road here, if he cannot merge up with one of these packs when they get back up to speed here. He might actually be able to time it pretty good, maybe with that 41 of Ryan Pilot, if he can check up just a bit. That might be able to help Ryan Pilot, because he actually put himself at a disadvantage with those guys behind him being in the draft, and they're on their way, and the march is on now for these guys. And check out that other pack that's right there. Paul Servant, he's there. He had a great pit stop when he finally came down, and he's got to be battling with all these guys for the race lead here towards the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're watching the first pack right now go around some of the lap cars, and they're not yielding that much. We're going to go 3 wide with some lap cars. The 4 car of Paul Servant, this is exactly what he's looking for. In the group behind him, they're going to draft off Christian Peterson and get a huge run right now, as they're going to go right by that 41 car of Ryan Pilot. But he's not completely out. Pilot is not completely out. He's going to secure a draft behind these guys. And Christian Peterson, he's going to come up and get some blocking. Oh, we got some blocking right here. That was some close stuff right there, but the guy who's going to get screwed the most is Corey Henry, as he has nobody behind him, and no one's going down to help him right now.
Talk about being ganged up on right there. You definitely say Corey Henry got ganged up on by those guys. Right there is that whole group of the field now, led by that 21 machine and Glenn Hedrick, able to get around him, and now Hedrick drops to the bottom side, leaves the top side wide open for the rest of these guys. Christian Peterson going to take over that top spot, and here comes the 4, Paul Servant, with the help from the 8, Dana Osborne. They're going to stay in the mix as well. So a great pit stop by that 4. They did the job. They did exactly what they needed to do. And from starting on the pole, this is his first opportunity now. As he looks to the high side, the 71 drops to the bottom. So, contact, the 12, the 85, and they're spinning before turn number 1. And that's going to take those 2 guys out of this race here tonight. And that's unfortunate for Corey Henry as well. And the 85 of Michael Lathrop having a great run. Started 6th. He was running right there inside that top 5, and that's going to pretty much put him out of this. 4 guys now left for the lead. They race their way into turn number 3, and when they come to the line, we'll only have 7 laps to go.
The thing is the overall standings is going to change so much from what we just talked about before the race even started. So Christian Peterson, he's going to take over the lead. Glenn Hedrick's going to follow right in suit. But we talked about Paul Servant. Was he going to be able to back up some of these impressive starts with a good finish? Well, it certainly looks like it at the moment, as he's in 3rd. The next guy right now is Ryan Pilot in 5th, and then we have Luis Calderon and then Sean Bounty. He's in 6th place, but Tom Mustak is only 3 positions behind him. So it looks like Tom Mustak is in the prime position, unless something drastic happens to him with his drafting partners. Which, if I were him, I would tell everybody around me, just don't push me, just get me to the finish. He's got to think about that, because he's the highest running driver of the top 5, and I think maybe even the top 10, except for Sean Bounty.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, because we documented Brandon Chaburko, Derek Walker involved in that earlier wreck, Alex Halinar as well, Casey Malone involved with it, Josh Ball was involved in it. So all these guys I'm mentioning that were in the top 5 in points, even in the top 10, Andrew Berger having problems, Rodney Wofford as well. Currently, he's still on the racetrack, and he's still on the lead lap, running in 12th right now, but he's 3 seconds off the race lead. He's only 2 spots behind Tom Moustakis, so he's not going to gain any points as of the time being. He was 11 back, so Right now, technically, it'd be about 13 off of the race lead. So Tom Moustakis is in prime position to get his second win of the season, a cumulative win as well, and much needed points he needs to get himself into the top 30 so that he can race for that championship this season. That would be something if he could get 2 wins on the season and fall short of the of making the chase as well, just based on where he is in the standing. So that would hurt quite a bit right there. And just crossed the start-finish line. That put us with 5 laps left to go here. Christian Peterson, your current leader. Glenn Hedrick, a great run for that driver, sitting right now in the second spot. Paul Servant, Dana Osborne, and Luis Calderon will round out our top 5 here. Top 4, though, they're the ones that are all jumbled up nicely right together, about a second and a half ahead of Luis Calderon and Sean Bounty. And look at this, almost 4 wide right there for the race lead as they try to get their way around some lap traffic. Corey Henry right there with those guys as well after that wreck, and that was an opportunity, I think, for that high side to get the lead back, but they just lost it because they had to check up just a little bit when that got a little crazy around that lap traffic there. 4 to go, though, at Dega.
Yeah, and think about the guys behind them. They're going to really pick up on that. Look, they just took their lead from 2 seconds to less than a second. That's going to a huge head of steam by Sean Bounty and Luis Calderon. That huge steam. I can't talk. Huge amount of steam right now, as they're actually getting to them right now.
Yeah, what a great run right there. Got them to the lead pack. Got them to a chance to pull out the win here. Tom Moustakis, he's still right up in there as well as he's trying to make his way up there. Sean Bounty now in about that 4th or 5th spot as they get a little crazy right up towards the front there. That 8 of Dana Osborne looking to the outside. It's got Hedrick now giving him the push. Look at the 82 coming with the run now into this pack as well. We got ourselves a dandy with 3 to go.
Oh, it's getting all too exciting. I don't think we expected everyone in the back portions of the pack to come up, but whenever we had that 4 wide situation, everyone had to lift and there was no pushing. So this is why we have this situation right now. And I think Tom Moustakis, it looked like he was peeking for a 3 wide situation there. And I think he is right now. I mean, this is way too racy for the leader for the leader right now, but I don't think he cares. He wants to be at the front.
I mean, just where he's at, he's got to basically keep that 14 in his sights. He's got him in his sights. He doesn't need to force the issue. But come on now, he's a racer. He's in this race to get the W, to get the win, and any way he can do it, he's going to try to do it here.
Sean Bounty's on the bottom.
Up front there, 3 wide. Sean Bounty squeezes to the bottom on that 71 machine, and they're going to still go 3 wide into turn number 1 and get the advantage. Oh, they make contact, but they keep it straight. Oh my goodness, what's the racing we got going on here for 3rd?
What did they have for breakfast this morning? My goodness, I am just amazed. And he's in 3rd now. Well, that was a great move. But now he needs some more support so he can get the top guys. And look, we got 3 wide behind Tom Moustakis. Luis Calderon on the outside. Look, we got 4 wide. Oh my gosh. Everyone's going for any amount of space that they can get, and the pack is catching the front too right now.
Yeah, a couple more guys getting involved in this action as well as the top 4, 5, 6 guys now. Single file, white flag is in the air. Final time, some more contact. Look at the 12 of Corey Henry. Down 1 lap right now in the 17th spot. He's still up there racing hard, trying to get into the mix and dirt track this around here right now. Top guys, though, they're all single file for the final time off of turn number 2. Tom Moustakis going to look to the outside now as they race their way off of turn number 2. He's got no help, though, is the problem for the time being. I'm not sure if he can get up to the front. Bounty trying to make some moves as well, trying to get away from that 3rd spot. The 10 gets pushed up the racetrack now into turn number 3, and we got ourselves a battle off of turn number 4. Final time, coming to the start-finish line. Paul Servant leads the trainer now. Does Osborne have anything for him as they're side-by-side behind him?
Oh,
they
they're
make
right
contact. Lots of contact in the back. Pilot into the 13, and Paul Servant will win race number 3.
Wow, that was an amazing finish. I mean, these guys are just a hell of a drivers out here. I mean, gosh, 5 different times they could have wrecked here, Andy, and they didn't. Well, they do, but they're doing it now, thankfully. They're getting it out of their system because they had it so bottled up. I mean, we all knew that the potential was there for a huge wreck, and it never did happen, and that shows the talent for these guys. Man, that was exciting. That was so dang exciting. But Paul, he gets the win today. He had a top 3 last week. Great job by him. We talked about him having a extremely poor running from the last 2 races, but he shows that he can be up front. He just had some bad luck for the first 2 races. So good to see Paul get to the win, and we'll talk to some of our finishers as we figure out who actually won the race as this segment is over. And I'm pretty sure it's Tom Mustakas who won the race here.
Yeah, most definitely it will be Tom Mustakas. Had a pretty good points lead over the next closest guy right now. Up ahead of him was Sean Bowney, who was about 11 points back. He'll make up a couple of those points here, probably get himself a decent finish, maybe a second or so on the night from Sean Bowney. So we'll see as everything gets updated, and we'll come back. It'll be the LSRTV post-race show. You've been watching the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, the cumulative race here at Talladega. We'll be back right after this.
Since 2010, the highest echelon of sim racing competition has focused on NASCAR and Grand Prix racing. 50 of the best drivers in the world doing battle for championship glory. Each man for himself, and even though there may be teammates on track, each driver is in command of his own destiny. Until now. 2016 sees the start of a new era in World Championship competition, with team racing getting its chance in the spotlight. No longer can one driver rule supreme, but you must rely on those with whom you share a car, a setup, a strategy. Endurance racing can be very different to other forms of motorsports, with races in this series lasting either 3 or 6 hours. Teams of 2 or 3 drivers, perhaps on opposite sides of the world, will share seat time, each having to collectively work towards one common goal. Crash out, and it's not just you who you let down. Officially sanctioned by SRO, it will be teams of drivers who will go head to head, car to car, rival to rival, in the pursuit of a championship. And there's over $25,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Some of the world's biggest sim racing teams are represented. There's also a group of teams who haven't seen this stage before, who want to make their mark and say we can hang with the best. The team racing revolution is here. It's loud, it's exciting, and it lives on iRacing Live, starting April 23rd.
Welcome you back here to Talladega Super Speedway. We just concluded the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series cumulative race here at Talladega, and I almost forgot where we were. At least I didn't say Atlanta when we were at Auto Club earlier this night. I've gotten Talladega right all the times here so far tonight, but that's just a little jab at my buddy Gabe, who did a fantastic job filling
That was
in
mean.
for me here this evening for the Rod Car Truck Tour. So thank you, Gabe, anyway. But no, we just concluded the iSuper Speedway Series and the cumulative races. 3 races, the 3 best finishes by any driver. Add it all up together, and you get a winner. And tonight, of course, that's Tom Mustak picking up his 2nd win on the season. And we'll talk to him along with the rest of the top 3 in just a moment. Of course, Tom did pick up the win. Rodney Wofford, a solid night for him as well. He ended up coming home in the 2nd spot. Sean Downey, excellent 3 races for that driver. He finishes in the 3rd spot. Alex Hallinar will finish 4th. 5th goes to Ryan Pylan. Brandon Chaburko with that trouble in race number 3 will find himself in the 6th spot. 7th goes to Derek Walker. Josh Ball will finish 8th. Casey Malone will finish 9th. And Andrew Berger will round out the top 10.
Seth the Merchant will finish at 11th. Mark Jorgensen Jr. will finish 12th. Jay McEachin will finish 13th. Christian Peterson 14th. 15th place will go to Jay Altman. Kelly Dahl will finish 16th. Glenn Hedrick will be 17th. Dana Osborne will finish 18th. Corey Henry 19th. And Luis Calderon will finish 20th.
Dan Harrington will come home in 21st. Ray Rittenauer will finish 22nd. Paul Servant finished 23rd, even though we got the race win in that final segment. Michael Lathrop will finish 24th. 25th goes to Ramon Evans. David Anderson finishes 26th. Larry Camp in the 27th spot. Tony Fenn finishes 28th. 29th goes to Chris Piscini. Matt Quick will finish 30th. Rod Flagg 31st. And William Roberts will finish 32nd here tonight. But that time, because we're down in victory lane, I'm going to talk with the number 10, Tom Mustakis. And for Tom, it's your 2nd win of the season. Both of them coming in the cumulative style formats. What is it about these that just seem to fit you?
Well, I have a decent amount of experience in these kind of races. Running another league called Paint the Yellow. It's basically this format. So, caution-free races, you have to make a mandatory stop under green. So I have a ton of experience doing that, and I had a decent amount of success doing it too. So I guess it just translated over here.
Well, absolutely does. Coming into tonight, you were 34th in the points. You got to get up to that 30th spot there to basically make these wins count to get yourself in the championship. Into battle for the championship. You don't want to let these 2 wins go to waste. You got one more race to do it. I think after tonight, though, with all these points you got here tonight, it's probably going to put you right about in that spot. I don't have the exact results here yet, but you were only about 11 or 12 points, I think it was, coming into the night out of 30th. So you had a good opportunity here tonight with this win to put yourself in that position. It's just going to take a solid night, I think, next week to get yourself there. You missed a few races, but you might going to have the opportunity here to run for the championship as well.
Yeah, I just pretty much tonight strategy. I just wanted to end up with a top 5 overall, and it's tough coming from the back in these races, but played good strategy in the 2nd race. Had to start in the back and played really good strategy with pits and stuff like that. Nailed the pit stop, and this race too. It looked like the leaders are just kind of messing around up front, and we were able to catch them and had a shot to get up there. So, just wanted a good finish tonight. Wanted to help Brandon Chaburko maybe get a dub so he could make the chase here, but maybe next week. But a good points night for us.
Yeah, definitely a good points night. Hopefully you end up carrying that over next week, get yourself locked into that championship battle, and like you said, maybe can help that 3 get his win next week and get him in as well. Tom, sponsors, shout outs, 2nd win on the season. Who helps you get here?
Well, we got the Little Tykes Toyota out there, painted up like a good old cozy coupe. So pretty much for my son. So cozy coupe Camry was good. Gotta thank Pampers. Destin, Little Tykes. Yeah, that's about it. So Toyota. So and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job. Thank you.
Well, I've been there too, and I've thanked those people numerous of times for saving myself as well too. But Tom, congratulations, your second win of the season, and hopefully next week we'll talk to you as a chase contender.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
There you have it. Winner on the night, Tom Moustakis gets one win in the first race of the night, able to pull off that, and then having to start from the back, he was able to make his way through the field 2 times after that. Get him 2 top 5s on the night, and for him, his second win of the season. But now I'm going to throw it to Austin. He's down on pit road, and he's caught up with our second place finisher, Rodney Wofford.
Yeah, I've caught up with the number 7 Chevrolet SS of Rodney Wofford. He did not finish outside the top 10 of all of the segments, but he only finds himself in second place. Rodney, go through with us how it was to come back to the field each and every time you were going green at the start of those races.
It was painful. I think every race. I think the first race we started up front, a little mishap on pit. The other ones, it was painful. Got gapped quite a bit, and trying to make up that time, it was not easy. Somehow the last one, I had Ray Rittenauer there helping on the last one. I got to give him a lot of thanks. He got me back up there, and somehow we got to the pack and wiggled up to a P4 in the last one there. And that was great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that last little bit down the tri-oval, if those guys wouldn't have got together, you would have actually been sitting in third place. So you got to thank your teammate for bumping a few guys out of the way there at the end. I don't know if that's intentional, but definitely got you the second place for the night. There was a little bit of hecticness going on at the end of that first race. Go through with us what you were seeing, because it seemed like we saw a 4 wide situation with the leaders, and it was just you guys caught up to him pretty quick.
In the first race,
Third.
Oh, third. Yeah, I seen him shuffling, and I seen him getting a little dicey, and I just kept my foot, blipped it a little bit, kept my foot in it, and was pretty much going for wherever a hole was and get what I could get, and not cause any junk there, and get whatever I could from whatever mistakes happened and whatever holes and C's were parted.
Well, you definitely made it work for you. You come home second, and you were like, I think I mentioned earlier, you didn't finish outside the top 10. So, that car seems like it's always up to the front in these sort of situations, So, how do you keep it going in the same direction these next couple races?
I just keep doing the same thing I've been doing. Just, try to be consistent. Try to stay out of any kind of junk, any big wrecks, any kind of damage, anything like that, anything that'll slow you down, and try to stay up front and try to win. That's what we go for, and go for the W every time.
Well, consistency is a word I would use to describe you. You come home second. Who do you got to shout out for your really good finish here tonight?
I got to shout out you guys, obviously, the broadcast, everyone behind the scenes, everyone, you guys, Andy, Rod Flag, doing the league, amazing guy, great guy. I'm going to give a shout out to Miss Bassini and Chris Bassini, who does paints and spotting on top of boots sometime for me. Again, my mother, father, my brother, and my nieces, I hope they're all staying safe with the bad storms that we've been having. I'm going to throw a shout out to Derek Walker and a little film project that he's got going, Throwing the Towel. You can check him out at Derek Walker Official on Facebook.
All right, that is your second place finisher, Rodney Wofford. And I think I'm going to go down to the other side of pit road. It's going to be the 34 of Sean Bounty, and I think Andy Kessler has gone from victory lane with that little Gatorade bath and gone to Sean Bounty.
Yeah, I'm trying up just a little bit here, but Sean Bounty, solid night tonight. A good effort by you. Some great runs in those 3 races. Had an opportunity to win one of them. Got blocked, I guess, just a little bit there on that one opportunity for you to get the win. But you end up third overall tonight. Not a bad way to get as we get closer to the chase.
Yeah, man. I actually never thought I would would have a good night in one of these cumulative races. I always end up finishing one and getting wrecked out in the other two, starting in the back, and it worked out okay. And yeah, in that first race, I really didn't have anything for the leader at the end when we made our final run through pit road on that first race. I got it was touch and go trying to get on pit road, and I got drilled in the back and shot between the two leaders, and fortunately made it work. But yeah, I couldn't pull up to him for the win on that first one. This second one, don't know what happened. I just kind of screwed up. Got down to pit road and had the wheel full to the left, and it just wouldn't turn down pit road. So I just settled for a really bad spot in the second race. Really beat myself over that. Just the fact that I even finished third doing that kind of hurts a little more, knowing that it could have gone a lot better. But I will take third place and get out of this cumulative race.
Absolutely. We head to next week. We head back to Talladega once again, and it seems like we can't get away from this place at least for 3 weeks here. But an endurance race next week, kind of a long one, 113 laps. Talk about having to get geared up for these little short 25 lappers with no caution to a 113 lap race.
I don't know. I've never been one for these short, quick, caution-free races where you see a wreck and you just kind of have to floor it and hope, because if you let off, your night's over one way or another. And it really gets your adrenaline pumping with these races. And so over the course of the season, especially tonight, I just felt like I just had to be a little bit more aggressive, and you saw that when I took that to the bottom underneath the 71 3 wide there at the end, and I can't believe we all made that finish. But the endurance races, that's my kind of race. I really love just letting a race come to me and just kind of like going under the radar through the field slowly and letting everybody calm down. So that's just going to play into my favor even more, I think. So like I said, just lucky to come out here as well as I did. And we go on to something that I really enjoy, those longer races.
Well, that longer race is going to get you geared up. Of course, you got your win earlier in the season. Got yourself locked in the chase rather early in the season, so it's been kind of, I guess, stress-free for you over the course of these next rest of the season, regular season that we had here. But gearing up for that chase, how big would a win be for you and your team heading into that chase, getting in next week?
Any race would be good. Definitely helps with confidence and momentum. But yeah, the win early. I've had a few pretty bad races, and it can be upsetting and frustrating to work so hard and just get wrecked out at random times for a random, sometimes stupid things, but that happens. But it was really good for just keeping the stress down, because I knew, I'm up there. I don't really have to worry. It's not going to be such a big deal. I'll be in and just brush that off to the side and do another race. So I'm really looking forward to the chase coming up.
Well, the chase is exciting no matter what it's in, but it amps up even more when you're talking about super speedway racing for a championship. So wish you the best of luck with that. But good luck first off with next week, and congratulations again on the third place finish tonight. Sponsor shout-outs, who helped you get that 34 to the track?
Yeah, I've got to do your part on the car every week, and we've been dealing with some alternating sponsors here and there, sharing the load, and we're really excited to have Sprite on the car. It's really flashed the car up pretty good, and I enjoy running it and showing it off. So it's really nice to see it up front and in good hands. So between those two, we're getting the job done and running up front. So I'm really enjoying that.
Well, congratulations again, Sean, and good luck next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you Friday.
Thank you. See you Friday.
There you have it. Our top three finishers on the night, a cumulative race, pretty exciting racing we saw here over the course of the night, Austin, and final thoughts, and we got one more week to go before we get this chase started.
Yeah, well, when my voice cracks like that, man, it's some exciting racing, and it totally was. I mean, it's been a while since since I've seen racing like that, and not just the racing, but the ability of the drivers to save the cars. I mean, if they wrecked, that was unfortunate because they raced just so well after that. They brought it back up and they were able to still do a really good job. So props to these guys tonight. That was amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and of course, with everything looming and the chase coming up, and all these guys getting set to basically, put the pressure on each other when you start talking about the chase for the Ice Superspeedway Series Championship. It's always a lot of fun. Got to go through it all last season, and of course, that was a lot of fun. As Seth the Merchant was able to pick up his first championship win as well. A lot of guys, though, they're still left. They got one more opportunity to get themselves that win to get themselves into the chase, and we'll see if they can do that all next week right here, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern on LSRTV and iRacing Live. And don't forget the Rod Car Truck Tour right before at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, though, it's the United Sim Racing All-Star Race. No points on the line. It's all about bragging rights tomorrow night, presented by B&C Lawn and Landscape Services and Simlutions. You can join the broadcast team at 10 p.m. Eastern for the LSRTV pre-race show from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that should be a lot of fun. The All-Star Race gets underway tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Don't miss it. It'll be a lot of fun as we get through with that. Also said, don't want to forget to check it out on livesimracing.com, our full broadcast schedule of everything that goes on all week long, including tomorrow night's race, of course, Sunday with the ASCORS, Monday night's RSR, and so on and so forth throughout the week. Lots of stuff going on. We want to thank all of you here tonight for joining us, and everybody from the LSR TV team, including tonight's booth crew. We had Gabriel Wood and Josh Ball earlier tonight for the Rod Car Truck Tour, and of course, Austin Coop, myself, Andy Kessler here, and our lovely and talented producer, Cisco Scaramuza, for getting the job done as always. We want to thank you all for tuning in tonight, and don't forget, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, at Sim Racing All-Star Race right here on LSR TV. Have a good night, everybody. This copyrighted broadcast is presented under authority of LSRTV LLC and the iRacing.com Motorsports Simulation and may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.